Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of The Tabletop Engineer. I'm Jim, the Tabletop Engineer, and in this episode I am going to show you the final detail work that I added to my Guardians of the Forge diorama. It all began with this prototype right here. Now it is complete. It is 4 levels high, 3-dimensional for all those miniatures to move around on. Let's get to the tabletop and I'll show you all the details such as stairs and statues and other bits that I added to it. This project began with me going into Tinkercad and basically modeling up what I wanted the staircases to look like. The idea was to have them with a 1-inch run so that a miniature could be placed on each of the steps. Once I was happy with the design of the stairs, it was basically just starting to cut a lot of stairs. I mean, we're talking 8 different staircases on this diorama. So it's a lot of cutting of foam and a lot of gluing of foam. Here you can see me gluing up the very first set of stairs. These are 1 inch by 1.5 inch. And I basically turned them back on themselves to save space. You'll see that in some of the later pictures. While the glue was drying, I did some tests on the pennants, which will hang from the various columns. This uses 2 different thicknesses of ribbon, a gold and a baby blue, and a little piece of plastic that I got from the hobby shop. After the glue dried, I painted all the stairs using the blue quartz, which is a treasure gold paint from Plaid.
Each month, Bexham's Bizarre RPG and Wargaming magazine provides gamers with articles, props to print and cut out for players, mini adventures, new monsters, and much more. Look in the description below for details on how to get a few free issues so you can see what you're missing.
While the paint was drying, I went back and made more pennants. I made about 30 of these. I just laid out a length of gold and then glued down a length of blue. And then I would cut these up into about 1.5 inch lengths. I also added a lot of 3D printing elements. Here's a brazier from Fat Dragon Games. Here are the 2 dwarf statues being printed. I painted the 2 statues using antique silver and detailed with fire opal. Once the blue quartz paint was dried, I added an opal stripe, a fire opal stripe down all of the stairs. I went back and cut the pennants apart. They're each about 1.5 inches in length, and I also cut like a little triangle out of the bottom of them. Next, I cut stairs to go from the 2nd to 3rd floor. All of these are cut at about a 1.5 inch depth because each step will overhang the previous step by 1/2 inch, leaving 1 inch of space for a miniature to rest. Here I am just gluing up some of the wider staircases. More stairs. You cut them up and you glue them up and you paint them and you stripe them. These stairs were basically 2 parts and they had to be trimmed to fit inside the area that they would be glued. When those were done, I went on and made the stairs that go from the 3rd to the 4th floor. These are the final set of stairs that I had to make. Glued them together, painted them blue, the blue quartz, and then striped them with the fire opal. And here it is. As you can see, I've got statues and various tombs glued on. The tombs, I didn't shoot any video of that. They are a Fat Dragon game mashup. Some of the dwarf statues I used to put on top of a sarcophagus. Painted them all antique silver and then glued them on the various levels, as you can see here. What is missing is lighting. I have a bunch of braziers, but those will not be glued on because I can use them in other games and other scenarios. And I didn't include them here so you could get a little bit more view of the various surfaces and colors and things like that. But everything you're seeing here is glued into place permanently. The statues, the tombs, the pennants, all of that is glued and will not come off. Total thing weighs, honestly, about 1.5 pounds. It is so light. To get it out of my workshop, I have to turn it sideways to get it through the door, but it's very light and it will be somewhat portable. There you go. That is the completion of this fixed piece of terrain that began with this very simple prototype made out of chipboard. As you can see, it does resemble the final product. It's got level 1, level 2, level 3, and level 4. I ended up not putting the columns on the top. I may do that later. I also added more tombs. The original one had 4, 6, 7. I now have 9. 4 on the second level, 4 on the third level, and 1 on the top level. I also skipped adding these little bridges that would, sort of go off into infinity. There just was no way to support them without adding more columns. And the columns were blocking line of sight, which is what they're supposed to do. But if you add too many, it just makes it hard for you and your opponent to, move your miniatures around. This was a very, very fun project. It was a very long project, just in terms of the fact that everything had to be hand painted. The hand painting was never in question. I wanted the look of those really vibrant colors. I wanted the heavy black line that divided all the colors. I've mentioned it before, it almost has a cartoonish look to it, and I just really, really like that about it. This was number 1 of what I'm calling my fixed terrain dioramas. I've got more planned. As a matter of fact, quite a few. I don't want to say what they are because I'm not going to necessarily do them in any particular order. I'm just going to do the one that I feel I'm ready to do. But a couple of them are going to be a little more crazy advanced than this one. So I have a feeling that I'll be going for another prototype or two just to make sure that I'm on the right track. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are a RPG player, this might be a little overkill because, if I'm a DM and I use this once on the table, probably going to be a hard sell to use it again. Once your players have seen it and used it, a lot of D&D does not return to one particular locale like this very often. But if you're a war gamer, to me, it's just very cool looking in the sense that it's 3-dimensional, not 2-dimensional on a tabletop. And I anticipate getting a lot of gameplay from it for various fantasy war games that I play. So I do hope you enjoyed it. I do hope you'll tackle something like this. And if you do, I would love to see it. Please join us over at the Tabletop Engineer Facebook page. And you can share your questions there, but you can also post the creations you make. And if you are going to do something like this, I definitely want to see it. I'll post some more close-up photos over at the Tabletop Engineer Facebook page so you can see it. But I'm also planning on shooting a short video, maybe 5 minutes or so, of just camera work, zooming in, and I'll put some minis on it so you can see kind of what it looks like in action and give you some up-close views of the details. All right, that's it for this particular project. This was fun. The Guardians of the Forge prototype to final result. I hope you enjoyed it. Please consider coming and joining the Tabletop Engineer Facebook page, as I previously mentioned, but come and join the Tabletop Crafters Guild Facebook page, where myself and 5 other guild masters, we love interacting with the people who, the members of that Facebook page who share their photos and their questions and stuff like that. It's a great place to come for a community who really is into terrain crafting. So please consider joining us there. That's it. If you like this video, please hit the thumbs up button and please do hit the subscribe button, and I will see you in a week. Take care.